Some nights I'm up kind of late, I do a lot of other things, and I have some moonlight work I do, but I had a dream, this is the truth. I dreamed that I fell asleep during the program. And I woke up and I looked at my watch and it was 8:30. But y'all were too nice and nobody, you all were just waiting for me to wake up to ring the bell. Honest truth. You
better get that one interpreted, buddy.
Pete Thurston has our invocation, our pledge, and our Rotary moment.
Bow our heads, let us pray. The gift of Rotary is evident in this room. Friends all about us, but special gifts to share. We ask you to be with each and every one of us as we move about our daily lives, always keeping in mind the special talents we have. Let us be fair and kind to those on our paths today. Let us focus on the objects of Rotary and implement these with your help. Amen. Stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
I was hung up on my Rotary moment. I was thinking about that this morning. I think one of the things that stands out in my mind is when we were building the boathouse at Camp Carefree, the first day when we were setting the uprights, and a lot of folks in this room were there, and Max was the straw boss for that job. We were putting in, I think there were 8x8s or 12x12s, big, heavy beams, and we had to put a bunch of them and sink them into holes and get them all the same height and all in a row. And the lake was recently drained, so we were standing on boards. If you missed the board, you went up to like your thigh in mud. We did this all day, and I said to myself, I mean, we either got to be super dedicated or nuts or a little bit of both.
That was a blast, though, wasn't it, Pete?
Oh, yeah.
That dock is still there.
It'll outlast the pyramids.
Right. Sergeant at Arms, John. Okay, you guys were really busy today, coming in fast and furious, but we have a number of visiting Rotarians today. Fred Bender Crescent, Bart Wiley Airport, Bob Hunt Summit, Carl Ashby Greensboro, Neil Wilcox Summit, Greg Ashley Summit, Claudia Kennedy Summit. We have 4 guests today. And I'm going to pronounce this Eyring. I'm sorry, Tom. Burton. Burton, I have a tough time with your last name. Where's Burton?
Right here.
Okay.
Say your last name, Burton.
Dembala. Sean Roberts, guest ship person, and a returning permanent visitor, Ben Bracken. Thank you, John. Kevin, birthdays, anniversaries.
As we've gotten to this week, we had one birthday for Walt Powell on the 3rd, and then for anniversaries on the 7th is Richard and Mary Needham.
Dr. Wall, how about that football pool?
You guys just came through so well for now. I'm not talking about the guys that did the pool. I'm talking about the guys that brought the prizes. I sent out an email yesterday, and man, I was just it's like Christmas morning over here. These guys are incredible. We were talking at our table before they started filling out the football pool about 22 choices this week. If you flip a coin, you're going to get 11 right. In fact, this week, if you would just pick home teams all the way down, you'd have gotten 15 right, and tied for the win. Nobody figured that out. Yeah, Ross, that used to be Ross crazy. In fact, he used to pick all this. But at any rate, nobody got that system. Tony, who am I? Tony? Yeah, told me a couple of weeks ago, he said, I fill this out every week just to show you guys that you don't have to know anything. And how's that working out for you?
I keep trying.
I know. If there was a nice guy award, you get it every week. You send out an email, I need a guy. Tony is the guy that answers every time. At any rate, nobody figured out the home team deal. But there was quite a race for the 0 bar. 3 people only got 9 right, Marlene, Dorothy, and James. At any rate, you guys had 9. I thought we were going to have to go to the playoff, but then my buddy Mike Allen stepped up, came through with 8. There's 0 bar. Okay. I know, the guy's always at the top. He's always at the top. Let's see, the cream finally rose to the top. Dennis Newman, 2nd place. It's a Raymond James Cup. Are you here? Oh.
Give it to Chip first.
I think he's got one. I'm so excited for our winner this week because this guy has been ragged on. Danny, thanks for the great prize. This is awesome. No, sorry. But from the bottom, from the worst to the first, our own Steve Brin. Prospects more as a golf towel, which I know Steve plays golf, and a cooler, so you can carry around a couple of beverages. Water while you're golfing. Congratulations. Thanks again for the prizes, guys. Great prizes. We'll be a bunch of them next week. Okay, fill out your pools are on the table.
Thank you, Dr. Waller. Emily, fundraiser.
All right, so it's very exciting this morning to have everyone throwing money at me. Keep it up, keep it up. Over the past month or so, we've heard different people talk about the importance of the fundraiser. We heard from Hal, we heard from Chip. We had Jack last week, or 2 weeks ago, talk about, all the good work that we do. So you all know how critical this is. So we really are on the home stretch. Really do need you to try and make those last sales here this week so you can turn in the money next week. Rachel's a great example of persistence pays off. Cheryl's a great example of using your network. You've sold, 15 packages? So wow. She's cranking through. So, just go out there and talk to people and talk to everyone you know. Hal, did you want to ask people if they have any raffles?
Yes, if anybody's got any raffle tickets, I need, how much are we? 25 raffle tickets. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, if you haven't sold any of your raffle tickets and you want to, see Hal, we'll take them off your hands. So again, we'll need to buy the tickets from the Coliseum next Friday, and then we'll work with Chris and we'll furiously put it all together. And that next week we'll get out all the sponsor packages and certainly all the ticket packages that everyone's bought. But does anyone have any questions?
We have a meeting today at 4 o'clock at the Coliseum at the Terrace. Would love anybody that's going to be involved in it to stop by just for a minute if you can and just see what we're doing, see the venue. I think it'll help a lot that night when we get there. Just stop in, say hello, see the venue. We'll get you guys.
Yeah, and so for voluntary, I do have my iPad if anyone wants to sign up before they leave here today.
Yeah, so right afterwards, I'll stick around for a while. Just come see me afterwards. We'll have the iPad. I'll actually have the sign-up site right up on the pad. We can sign you up right there for spots. Still quite a few availabilities to serve.
But it'll be great fun. It's not going to be hard work during the event. So if you're going to be there, sign up for your slot. We'll have a lot of fun volunteering while you're enjoying the great music that we're going to have and the great food.
Thank you, Emily. Quick announcement, tonight, the foundation banquet. Those of you that signed up to go, we're gonna meet here at the O. Henry at 5:30, and I'll take as many people as will pile in my SUV, and then whoever else has a big vehicle, and we'll go over, and my wife has arranged some party favors for the ride over. All right, see you here at 5:30. Any other announcements? Happy Dollars.
Happy dollars! All right. Yeah, there we go, there we go. All right, Mr. Conrad.
All right,
Ex-district.
if the voice holds out, but
Yeah, money for
last week, y'all remember that I gave a shirt from JDRF for the football pool. And Walt said that he didn't actually have that color. And he's done such a great job as our football pool person that this is for you, Walt, and for your birthday.
You still have to usher.
Right here.
All right, well, I'm happy to report that my mother came home from the hospital yesterday. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Are you going to give $1 and show us the ribbon?
Well, when are,
Okay. All right, Chip, there you go.
Come here, Buster.
$5, all right.
Well, a few weeks ago, a fellow by the name of Dan Quinn asked me if I would cook a pork shoulder or two for some get-together he had. And then he said, well, we might have another team there, and we might need more than one pork shoulder, maybe two. And then he said, well, okay, it's turned into a competition. There might be 5 or 6 teams, and we need to cook a whole bunch of pork shoulders. And one thing led to another, and it turned into a 10-team blowout. We formed a team called the Hunka Hunka Burnin' Rub, which we all voted on. Emily still wants to change it back to something else, which we may do if we do it next year, Dan. But who here, I see Guy, Rachel, stand up, Hunka Hunka Burnin' Rub. Yep. These folks came out to my house twice. There's Danny, I'm sorry. We've had 2 cook-offs at my house. I would say all total we probably have over 50 hours by the charcoal grill. And for our work, we not only brought home first place, we brought home
People's Choice.
how about that? My congratulations. Just one other little thing about that. It's very hard the way we did it. It was most unusual. We cooked on a big open pot, almost the size of one of these tables, and we put wash tubs, if y'all have seen it on Facebook, over it. But on a windy day, that takes, as this person said, I'm a meticulous micromanager of meat thermometers. She also has been known as the Miss Chuck Norris of the charcoal. I think of her as Cool Hand Emily Hoole. And see to it that she stays that way, I want to present her own set of slightly used welder's gloves to remember the occasion by, and to ensure that she will stay Cool Hands Emily Hoole. About every 10 minutes you had to check the temperature and make an adjustment to something hot. So,
Dan, how much you raised?
We're still counting. About $8,000, I think, is the bottom line. I have a $10 happy dollar for everybody that came out. And when we pulled the trigger and said cook for 400 people, I had sold 80 tickets. I was so afraid we're going to have barbecue left over. At 8 o'clock, there's not a mouthful of barbecue left. So anybody that bought tickets that didn't get to eat, please see me so I can refund your money. If we do it again, we've decided that the only thing we can call it is Chip Person has the best toys. Thank you all.
That's definitely. Dr. Chuck.
This dollar's for Garabunda. Brenda Brokaw. Does that name ring a bell?
It does.
She's tending bar in New Orleans, so last Thursday night, Halloween. She said to give you no time.
$6 out, guys.
Fellows there, it's good to be back. back. I was on the road for about 5 weeks, and in between several business trips, I came home and did a short trip to Granada with my daughter, who's going to vet school there in the fall, or in January. And we had a fabulous time. We went scuba diving twice, and it was a beautiful island, and it was just really fun. Thank you.
I just got back from Guatemala last week, and it's nice to be back in the land of clean water, hot showers, and ice in your drinks. And it's just such a privilege to be born American and live in this country. And I have, I gave you $3, so I want to present Kelly Harrell a picture of the stove he and the family he sponsored for the trip, and Michael Yarborough sponsored the family and have a photo of her and the family she sponsored. Thank you.
Happy Thursday. I am very excited today because yesterday I finally became legal. I finally turned 21. It was my birthday. So I had a drink at the airport yesterday for my birthday.
Okay, this is for Hal and Jack. Last week I'm sitting at this very table and I'm saying, you know, I'm not comfortable selling tickets. I bought all the tickets that Emily gave me the first time. And Hal's like, oh, don't give me that, Cheryl. You've got all these clients and you've got this list. So I went back to my office immediately, got on the internet, individually wrote to about 30 people that said, you know, I'm not really comfortable. I don't ask for money much, one time a year. And I have sold, I guess, like 20 tickets so far, waiting for some money. So for those of you who wrote that you can't sell your 3 tickets, go on the internet, send a personal email, sell the tickets.
All right.
So just real quick, I put several invitations on your tables there, but just as a way of saying thank you to our clients and our friends that support us. Edward Jones has rented the Carolina Theater this year. And December 1st, we're showing 2 movies, one at 2 and one at 5:30. It's a Wonderful Life and Polar Express. And tickets are paid for. The only thing we're doing is actually using it as a food drive for the urban ministry. So just bring some non-perishable food items, come and enjoy a movie. And do RSVP to our office so we have an idea of how many will be there, but we'd love to have everybody.
When's the date again, Steve?
December 1st, the Sunday right after Thanksgiving.
First one is, I got it. First one is, I saw an incredible film. A lot of you may have seen it. It's probably all over Facebook, but it's called Defining Moments. It's a Billy Graham thing that's going on. And there's also a Billy Graham 95th birthday that's being celebrated tonight. I think it's a simulcast. A lot of churches are showing it. So the reason I was thinking about that is Susan said something very profound to me. And I shucked it off like I do most of the profound things she says. Until later, when it dawned on me that she was right, she said, you know, if Billy Graham lived back when they were writing the Bible, he'd probably be in the Bible. You know? That kind of guy. Anyway, so I thought that was worth mentioning. The other $50 is just to follow up on Cheryl. That's a great idea about the email. Be careful what you write, how you word it.
Don't take your cat to the shower.
Hey, Robinson was at Simulcast. Time is up to death.
I'm not sure. They're showing it at Westover, but I'm not sure what time it starts.
Anybody else? Well, as Grandpappy always said, if wishes were horses, the dreamers would ride. But really, they're more like cattle, so you best bring a shovel.
Grandpappy is a wise man. Beth, call on Beth Sheffield. We have some special presentation to make. We'll follow up from last week.
I'm going to ask that Claudia Kennedy will come up here with me and help me, but also you're going to be my color commentator. So, last week we did some of our Paul Harris Fellowship fellow presentations, and thank you, Mike Conrad, for for helping with that. We, overall as a club, have 10. So we have 2 more to do today. And we also have 1 more plus 1, which is another $1,000 to the Paul Harris Fellow plus 1. And I think it would be important a minute to talk about every Rotarian every year. That's something that annually you are assessed for. And it's so important because that money goes to the foundation and continues the good work. But once you've done that, just what you do for the club, every Rotarian every year for 10 years, then you become a plus 1. But I would like to also encourage you to, at the end of the year, as you are preparing your gifts, to maybe think about maybe giving, instead of $100, maybe upping that pledge. And if you'd like to up that pledge, please email myself or Mike Conrad. It's just important work we do as Rotarians. And one of the reasons that I joined Rotary is because of the international work and the work we do at home. The Paul Harris Fellowship, as we said last week, was founded. Paul was founded, and Claudia said it was founded in 1907. 1917. So we're coming up on 100 years. Yeah. And Claudia, share the first gift to the foundation was for how much?
$26.50.
Yes. Yes. So we've come a long way, and we're trying to get for 2017. The goal is to get.
Well, the goal is for 2023 or 2024 to be $1 billion in a permanent fund, but we think we can get there by 2017, the 100-year anniversary.
Yes. So. And since 1985, one of our top priorities as Rotarians has been to eradicate polio. And there are now 4 countries. There's been a pop-up in Syria. So an additional in Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. But we're well on our way, thanks to all the hard work and all the dollars raised by Rotarians around the world for that. So I would like to call up to our podium here. Sarah's not here today. Is that right? Okay. So I'd like to call Rachel Meisterberg, Mike Allen. Your contribution to Rotary, the Rotary Foundation, in allaying suffering, improving living conditions, providing educational opportunities for the less fortunate around the world. You've been selected to receive the Paul Harris Fellowship pin. Yeah, Rachel, yes. And then the plus 1 pin. And we thank you for demonstrating this honor. We really thank you for continuing to give and to continue to support the foundation. We move closer in a peaceful world today now that you have received this award. And please, there's the certificate and the emblem lapel pin. So thank you, and stay here because we have 2 more. I'd like to call to the podium. Well, let's see, that's Rachel. Michael Yarborough and Kevin Barth. Michael and Kevin. Today, Michael and Kevin are receiving their benefactor wings insignia and certificate. The insignia is designed to be worn downward and is a donation, a $1,000 donation to the permanent fund. We honor you today with a special appreciation as members of our club for your donation to Rotary. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Well, as that's yours, yeah, yes. Claudia Kennedy is our district regional chair here, and she's done great work for our district and for Gate City. She's impassioned as I am for the work of the foundation. Thank you everyone in this room for all the work you've done and all the donations you've given over the years. Someone please get me a program from tonight's Rotary Foundation dinner. This will be the first one that I have missed. We actually have our One City, One Book author coming to town tonight at the Carolina Theater. So I will be busy all day with 3 programs with Luis Urea in town today. So Claudia, I'm going to let you introduce Pam and tell a little bit about some of the great work that Rotary is doing out in the world.
Thank you. I'm Claudia Kennedy. I am a member of Summit Rotary, and I'm glad to know that there are a number of Summit members here today. I am the foundation advocate for Area 5. Area 5 is Gate City, Summit, Greensboro, and Southern Guilford New Generations. And so I try to support the foundation, spread the word of the foundation, and since Mike is the district guru of the foundation, I have to be really careful what I say, and Mike, feel free to chime in when I get a statistic or some facts that aren't quite true. In 1917, that $26.50 started what became known about 10 years later as the Rotary Foundation, all with the idea of doing good in the world. And the foundation fuels the engine of the good work that Rotary does. And the good work is, the engine is all of us. We, with our time, treasure, talent, look to do good in the world, to improve lives, and to make the world a more peaceful place. And the foundation has grown over the years because of our contributions, and y'all being a Triple Crown Club certainly embody the aspirations of Rotarians and the good work of the foundation. I'm going to talk just briefly about the 3 types of grants. I'm not going to get into much other than the 3 types of grants. There are district grants, global package grants, and global grants. And that is the foundation awards those projects that we design, develop, and implement to do good around the world. A district grant, we get many district grants because the Greensboro clubs jointly conduct many projects, whether it's Project Rebuild, Big Sweep, Rotary Youth Leadership Program, any number of things. And this year, close to $82,000 was brought from the foundation back to the district to support the projects that we do, not only in the district, but specifically in Greensboro. Package grants are those that are in coordination with a strategic partner, such as Mercy Ships, where the activity and the program is already underway, it's established, and then we Rotarians put in our time, talent, treasure to help those projects. There's a group in Winston-Salem, I'm not sure what, it's a Winston-Salem club that has a medical team that will be on Mercy Ships in Guinea to help train the local people, medical techniques and proficiency. A global grant is much larger, wider, and deeper in scale and commitment. A global grant is a project that requires the involvement of both the sponsoring club as well as the host country club, and it is a minimum of $30,000 in activity, has to be sustainable, long-lasting, and leave a permanent imprint and impact of its work. And what we're going to hear today is a global grant that is being sponsored by the Airport Club, and specifically Pam Simpson, who is our speaker. Pam became involved in the lives, or improving the lives of women and children in Ethiopia. She was there, she'll probably tell you this, I don't need to tell too much. She was there with her daughter, they were adopting an Ethiopian child, and Pam and her daughter Ryan saw the need for improving the lives of women who were carrying bundles of wood for miles and miles and miles to make $1 a day, and they're making $1 a day, walking 10 or 15 miles, and just going deeper and deeper into the cycle of poverty. So Pam has thought with her daughter Ryan and her husband, how can we help these people? What can we do? And what type of enterprise can we embark on that will improve lives and change the world? So Pam, let me give you some background on Pam. Pam is quite accomplished. She has a PhD in education with an emphasis on childhood literacy. She got her degree in 1994 from Virginia Tech. She was an elementary and middle teacher for over 25 years. She was director of elementary and middle school programs in Pulaski, Virginia, adjunct faculty for Virginia Tech and the University of South Carolina. She and Ron retired in 2007 and moved to Oak Ridge. They have 2 daughters and 6 grandkids. She likes to read, sew, and travel, and she does a lot of traveling because she goes to Ethiopia. She's been to Ethiopia 9 times. She made that trip in June of 2013 and has founded Connected in Hope, which is a 501c3, and the specific project is Threads of Hope, which are scarves made by the women of Ethiopia that are marketed and sold around the world, and Pam and her daughter are actively engaged in developing that enterprise. She is a member of the Airport Club and is quite involved in the activities of the club, and believes that Rotary has changed her life. She said that whether it's helping with Kids Vote, making lunch for Project Rebuild workers, or ringing the bell for Salvation Army, there's a sense of fellowship, community, and purpose. And it has helped her become a better citizen of the Piedmont Triad. She said, through Rotary, I've learned about the important work organizations like Patriot Rovers, Peace Haven, and Goodwill are doing in the community. I feel honored to be a part of Airport Rotary in District 7690. So I bring you Pam Simpson.
If it's all right, if you can hear me, or if you can't, please let me know, because I'm much more comfortable talking close to the computer so I can hit the return button. Normally I say I don't wear a watch, so I bring my clock, and this is to make you feel a little bit better about the day. It's 3:47 in Ethiopia. I'm going to move really quickly because I have multiple purposes this morning. One is to tell you about Connected in Hope. But even more importantly is to tell you how Connected in Hope is connected with each of you and with District 7690 in some work for a global grant that's really, truly amazing. As Claudia said, Connected in Hope began in September 2009 when I took my first trip to Ethiopia with my daughter to pick up my grandson. This is Joseph on the very first day we got our hands on him and changed his outfit to put on his all-American outfit of jeans and a baseball hat. This is Joseph on July the 4th of this year. He will be 5 in January and is a true blessing in our family. And actually on November the 19th, he and his mom and his family will be here visiting, so he's going to come and help me do the Rotary talk at the Airport Club that day. I'm not going to spend much time talking about Ethiopia, except to tell you some basics that all of us need to be aware of. Number one is it's an extremely safe country. I've never felt threatened. And the reason for that is because the Ethiopians are very conscious that that's part of what they're selling to the world. It's the headquarters for the African Union. There are embassies from every country of the world, particularly the African countries, and the Ethiopians are very conscious of their role as the capital of Africa, so to speak. It's also very different from the countries that surround us. I think you're aware that Somalia, Kenya, the problems of violence associated with religious fundamentalism is huge. In Ethiopia, 44% are Ethiopian Orthodox, which is much like the Greek Orthodox or the Russian Orthodox here in the United States. About 32% are Muslim and about 18% are Protestant. They get along very, very well. This is Mountain Toto, 10,000 feet. Absolutely beautiful. This is Addis Ababa, 8,000 feet. It's about 10 miles down the mountain. Now, why is that important? It's important because there are thousands of women who every day go out, collect bundles of eucalyptus branches, put them into bundles that weigh 75 to 85 pounds, hoist them on their back, and carry them down the mountain. They almost run. If you can imagine the weight of the bundle, the incline, and then the fact that if they don't get to the market before other people, they may not be able to sell their bundle. What do they get for this? About $1. Unfortunately, a huge percentage of these women are not women at all. They're girls. We have several of the women that we work with who began carrying bundles like this when they were 8 years old. Their mothers could not earn enough by carrying a bundle themselves, so they took their daughters into the forest with them, so their daughter could also carry the bundle. If the daughter's carrying a bundle, obviously she's not getting an education, so that compounds the problem. One of the things I saw this summer that just touched me hugely was I saw a mother carrying a bundle and her 8-year-old son was walking beside her with a baby on his back. So it gives you an idea. There are thousands of women who make their living this way. When we came home from picking up Joseph, we couldn't get the pictures that we had seen out of our mind. We wanted to do something. My words to Ron after was, I'm glad to be home, I missed you, I love you, were, how soon can I go back? Will you go with me? And what are we going to do? Connected in Hope was born after a visit and conversations with the women, because I think you know as well as I do that us imposing our ideas of what's needed and what's going to fix a situation aren't the way to go. So what we did is we sat down over time with a group of women. Now the women that we sat with, 6 or 8 of them, represented a much larger group. We asked them to select people to represent them so that we would have a manageable group of people. They identified 3 things. We need income alternatives that are sustainable and predictable. We need improved educational opportunities, and we need access to basic health care. Those are the things that we wrote when we did our 501c3 application, and those are the things that have guided every decision we've made since we were incorporated and got our 501c3 in February 2011. And I'm going to go real quickly through some pictures here. This is Moshette. This is how the women, we have 38 women who are weaving scarves, which we pay them then fair trade up front for the scarves, and then we market in the United States and Canada. All the proceeds go back into programs for the women and their children. It's amazing what they say. Today, I know I'm going to get paid when I make something. I don't have to wait for it to sell in a shop, or I don't have to worry about if the money's coming. Today, I know that I can afford the 50 kilograms of teff that I need to feed my family. Our focus has always been to honor the women. Just recently, I had a professional fundraiser sharing some information with Ryan and with me. And he said, you need to show the worst picture, the saddest picture. It's more compelling. Ryan and I looked at each other and said, you know, that's not what we're all about. That's not the way we think about the people that we work with. Oh yes, there are sad stories. There are horrible, horrible pictures. But we want to honor these women. We want to celebrate who they are, their talent, their creativity, because that then gives them the motivation and the inspiration to go forward. It gives them hope. There's a huge synergy that occurs when you combine income opportunities with education and health care. What you get is far greater than if you were addressing any one of those issues in isolation. The second thing that they mentioned was education for their children, something to help break the cycle of poverty. The women that we work with have set up a preschool. Now they call it a preschool. It's a holding tank. It's 2 tiny rooms that probably are not much bigger than this table right here. And it's unfortunate, but that's all they've known to do. So what we said was, okay, we can go forward from here. We can move this into a different setting. We can provide the expertise necessary to allow this to be a high-quality preschool for the children. These are just some pictures. The illiteracy rate is huge. Fewer than 40% of the children who are of elementary school age actually attend elementary school in Ethiopia. And of that 40%, fewer than 40% complete elementary school. Many of the women we work with cannot read or write their own language. And this gives you an idea of, this is where the children currently go to the bathroom. This is located at the top of a little rise. There are little play areas right here, and where they go for their little classes and eat is down below that. So you can imagine what happens in the rainy season when it rains in July and August and September in Ethiopia. We've rented a compound that actually has 2 fully functioning bathrooms with showers and with flushing toilets, which is a huge accomplishment. We've had all the plumbing redone, we've had all the wiring, everything rewired. It's been painted inside and out. It's ready to move. 47 children that we already have registered into this facility. It has 8 classroom areas and a large common area. I'm going to go very quickly. In June, we took 38 women to have their eyes examined. They are getting the prescriptions filled and into donated frames so that when I go the next time, they'll be able to have glasses that actually help their vision. And one of the real joys we have that is amazing, and let me just kind of preface it by saying that the ratio of healthcare providers to population in Ethiopia, depending on which statistics you read, is anywhere from 60,000 to 1 to 100,000 to 1. There are more Ethiopian doctors in Washington, D.C. and also in Chicago, Illinois, than there are in the entire country of Ethiopia. These 2 young men grew up in orphanages in Ethiopia. This is Bant. Bant is Eritrean. His parents were killed in the conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea. He grew up in a government-run orphanage. To say it was dismal is being very, very kind. Mahari grew up, his mother died when he was 2, his father when he was 7, and he grew up in a private orphanage. I knew both young men in 2009. They both said that they wanted to be physicians. In Ethiopia, if you are an orphan, the government tells you what you can do, which means you either are put out on the street because you didn't score high enough on the exam, or you're allowed to go to auto mechanics school. Both of these young men had been told they could go to the universities. Bant was sent to Addis Ababa University and told he had to study anthropology. Mahari was sent to Gondar University and told he was going to study engineering. He got there and there was no engineering program, so they put him in something else. Bond approached us in 2010 and said, there is a private medical college in Addis called Hyatt. If I can get in, will you support me? We talked about it, and this was before Connected in Hope even. We talked about it and said, yes, we can do this. We can do this. We're not wealthy, but we can do this. We are much more emotionally connected with Mahari. So we knew if we said yes to Bonnie, we were going to have to tell Mahari and see what happened. Long story short, Ron and I did our due diligence. It's an excellent medical school. There are many Western doctors who come for short-term help and to teach. Both young men were admitted to the university in 2010. We introduced them to each other. They share an apartment, and they are in their clinical rotations currently and doing amazingly well. We gave them 2 requirements. 1, you have to study hard. 2, you have to stay in country, because this is a commitment we were making to help the country. Now, I'm going to jump real quickly to the Threads of Hope and why this is so amazing. The Threads of Hope grant, and I have huge kudos to Bart and to my fellow club members, because they have been so supportive in everything that we've talked about, everything that we've done over the last year that we've been working on this, and to Mike, who has been a huge help as we tried to navigate the waters of the new Rotary Global Grant process. Threads of Hope is unique. Threads of Hope addresses three things. It addresses income, in that what we hope to do and what we plan to do is to have a person on the ground who is building the capacity of the women that we currently work with, and then an expanded group. Working with them on things that, how do we meet the needs of and the demands of Western customers? How do we work on quality, consistency? How do we navigate the whole export things? Those are things that we've been doing, and they've kind of been watching us. When I'm there, it works. When I'm not there, it doesn't work. That's pretty much the bottom line. So what we want is someone on the ground who will work side by side, not only with the women that we're working with currently, but with an expanded group of about 100 women, to give them the skills they need so that they will have the capacity to run their own business. That's important. So that's the first piece. The second piece is preschool and daycare. When I was in Ethiopia in February, one of the saddest things that I've ever experienced, I was at the compound where one of the compounds where our women weave, and a young woman who was probably 24, 25 came to the compound. She had a baby that couldn't possibly have been more than a month old, strapped on her chest. She was talking to the women that, 3 or 4 of the women that we work with, and she said to them, "Will you find somebody to take my baby?" I'm a huge proponent of adoption. But no mama should ever have to give up her baby because she can't financially or physically take care of the baby. So that's why, even back in 2010, when Connected in Hope got started, we said our tagline was empowering women, strengthening families, family preservation. If we have a preschool and a daycare, what we've done is we've given moms a place for their children to be, so that they can work. We've given moms then a vehicle that will help them earn a living. We've changed their lives. Everything that we're doing with Connected in Hope, and with the Global Grant, and with the partner, the host club, which is the Addis Ababa Rotary of Central Mela, is to build the capacity of the community. Whether we're talking about literacy, the literacy program is amazing because it's walking side by side with the people to give them the kind of English that they need in order to have commerce and employment. So 3 components, it's gone really fast. 3 components. One is the income development, the second is preschool and daycare, and the third is English literacy for the core group of women. We put those 3 things together, we've changed lives. we've made a difference. Everything that we've put in place in the global grant is intended to be self-sustaining by the community within 3 to 5 years. Jack knows, Dan knows, those are slow processes. But when you put the things in place that builds that capacity, you've really made a huge difference in lives. You haven't just given out money. I like to tell people on a regular basis, we're not a charity. We're not, I don't want to keep giving out my retirement money for the rest of my life. What I want is to see women and families have the ability to rise above poverty on their own. Because with that comes dignity, respect, a sense of purpose, and a sense of accomplishment. And the global grant, Threads of Hope, is going to help make that happen. So I thank you. I have for you, and Claudia and Bart can help pass them out, a folder. The folder has lots of information about Threads of Hope. It also says right there how you could help as a club or as individuals. And then there's information about both Ethiopia and about Connected in Hope. So I thank you very, very much. I thank you for being Rotarians. I thank you for caring about the world, whether it's Vietnam or Haiti or Ethiopia, and for knowing that your efforts are making an enormous difference in the lives of people throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam, and what an appropriate talk for Foundation Month on the eve of the Foundation Banquet. We are going to donate the book to Cone Elementary School, The Babysitter Sings, and it will be inscribed with your name and today's date. And if you would please draw a winning
ticket.
Not a losing, but a winning. A winning raffle ticket. You can read the last 3 digits. Don't forget the cart fund on your table.
Oh, they're also just the pictures on your table are some of the children that we'll be serving that are in our 47. Those faces say it all, I think. Okay, the winning ticket, 839. Yeah, very good.
Cheryl, all right. Have a great day.